Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that Earth had moved slightly closer to the sun. Not crashing directly into it, not a giant apocalypse instantly, just a small shift inward through space. It sounds harmless at first, because the distance between Earth and the sun is already enormous, about 150 million kilometers. So what difference could moving a little closer really make? Scientifically, the answer is terrifying. Life on Earth survives because our planet exists inside a very narrow region around the sun called the habitable zone. This is the perfect distance where temperatures allow liquid water to remain stable on the surface. If Earth moves too far away, the planet freezes. Too close, and oceans begin evaporating into space. Earth's current position is balanced so precisely that even relatively small orbital changes could dramatically affect global climate systems. The amount of solar energy Earth receives follows the inverse square law. This means if Earth moves closer to the sun, radiation intensity increases rapidly rather than gradually. Even a small reduction in orbital distance would expose the planet to significantly more heat and solar radiation. At first, humans might only notice stronger summers and rising global temperatures. Heat waves would become longer and more extreme. Polar ice caps would melt faster, increasing sea levels worldwide. Coastal cities would begin experiencing permanent flooding, but this would only be the beginning of a much larger chain reaction. As temperatures rise, oceans absorb more heat. Warmer oceans increase evaporation, placing more water vapor into the atmosphere. Water vapor itself is a powerful greenhouse gas, meaning it traps additional heat. This creates a feedback loop where rising temperatures cause even more warming. Scientists call this a runaway greenhouse effect. Something similar likely happened on Venus billions of years ago. Venus may once have possessed oceans and milder conditions. But because it orbits much closer to the sun, solar heating became so intense that water continuously evaporated into the atmosphere. Eventually, temperatures rose high enough to boil away oceans entirely. Today, Venus has surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead, despite not being the closest planet to the sun. If Earth moved sufficiently closer, our planet could slowly begin following the same path. Another major danger involves Earth's atmosphere. Increased solar radiation would heat the upper atmosphere, causing it to expand. Over very long periods, lighter atmospheric gases could escape into space more easily. At the same time, stronger ultraviolet radiation from the sun would damage ecosystems and increase mutation rates in living organisms. Agriculture would also face severe disruption. Crops depend on stable climate conditions, rainfall cycles, and temperature ranges. Extreme heat would reduce food production across many regions. Droughts could become widespread as freshwater systems dry out faster than they can replenish. The oceans themselves would begin changing chemically and physically. Coral reefs, already sensitive to temperature shifts, would suffer mass bleaching events. Marine ecosystems could collapse as oxygen levels in warmer water decrease. Since billions of people rely on oceans for food and climate stability, the consequences would spread across the entire planet. Weather systems would become far more violent as well. Hurricanes and storms gain energy from warm oceans. With additional solar heating, storms could become stronger, wetter, and more destructive. Some regions might experience constant drought, while others face extreme flooding. Even human survival would become increasingly difficult in certain parts of the world. Scientists already study something called wet bulb temperature, where heat and humidity combine to dangerous levels. Beyond certain limits, the human body can no longer cool itself effectively through sweating. Prolonged exposure becomes fatal even for healthy individuals. If Earth moved only slightly closer, civilization might still adapt using advanced technology, cooling systems, and climate engineering. But larger orbital changes could push Earth beyond critical tipping points where natural systems become unstable. Ironically, the sun itself is also slowly becoming brighter over time. Every billion years or so, solar luminosity increases gradually as hydrogen fusion changes the sun's internal structure. Scientists estimate that even without orbital movement, Earth could become too hot for complex life in the distant future because of the sun's natural evolution. So, Earth's survival depends not only on having a sun, but on maintaining the correct distance from it. And perhaps the most fascinating part is this. Earth's orbit is not random. The balance between gravity and orbital velocity keeps the planet moving around the sun in a stable path. If Earth slowed down significantly, gravity would pull it inward. If it moved too fast, it could drift farther away. The stability of life on Earth depends on this continuous cosmic balance happening every second. Right now, humanity lives within one of the rarest and most fragile conditions known in the universe. A planet located at just the right distance from its star. Not too hot, not too cold. Balanced perfectly enough for oceans, weather, oxygen, ecosystems, and life itself to exist. So the next time sunlight touches Earth, remember something incredible. Our entire civilization survives because this planet is orbiting the sun at almost exactly the right distance. Move slightly closer, and Earth could slowly transform from a living world into a planetary furnace.